Okay. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon. Aha, let me get that volume. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to SOFBN Breaking News. We have a special guest. He's running for office, Joel Brooks. Praise God. And we just want to thank you for coming in. Let me get your handshake. There you go. Amen. Welcome to SOF Breaking News.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and it's really an honor. You're running for Jersey City Council in Ward B. That's important because that's where I'm at. And the information tells me that Joel is a rent control tenant, longtime labor organizer, and a candidate fighting for all residents. Before we get started, how important is that? And before you answer that, I want you to let people know who you are. I know I just did it, but it looks more professional when you do it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me on SOFBN. And thank you, Bishop Thomas, for your service to the community and your ministry. My name is Joel Brooks. I am a candidate for Jersey City Council, Ward B. That is the west side of Jersey City.
Right.
And I'm running because I think that our part of Jersey City, our section of Jersey City, deserves just as much attention and resources as downtown Jersey City.
Great. Question number one, because that was question number two,
Okay.
number one already. How did you get involved in the labor movement?
Great question. So my father worked for the United States Postal Service. He was a clerk, not a union leader, not a union steward, just a union guy. And he would bring me to his union meetings. And I remember one day when I was younger, he brought me to the post office for bring your kid to work day. And he pointed out his shop steward and he said, that guy, he protects our rights and he fights for us on the job. And that stuck with me. When I was in college, I got involved in actually protesting the Iraq War. And I went and I volunteered for the Howard Dean for President campaign. That was a few years ago now. And he had a lot of labor unions supporting him. And I saw, wow, unions can be involved in the political process and be fighting for justice and, for the good of all people in the political realm, not just at the workplace. And so I decided to become a union organizer.
Okay. Let's get this question right off.
Sure.
When your experience on labor movement bringing you to socialism, right? And how do they inform your campaign?
Sure. So I am a proud democratic socialist.
Okay.
I had the great fortune to work for the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2016. And as working to help people build their unions, either when they have a union and they're, fighting against, cuts to their health insurance or trying to bring their working standards down, or people who don't have a union, who have no voice on the job, who have no power. That has informed my worldview that I think working people deserve power and a voice, whether it's at the workplace or the ballot box and City Hall.
Right. What is democratic socialism?
Democratic socialism is a movement. It's worldwide, but in the United States, what we fight for as democratic socialists are housing for all, universal health care, Medicare
What do you
for all.
mean by all?
Not leaving one person in the street, not leaving one person behind, making sure that because we have such bountiful wealth in this country, we have billionaires who go to space for fun.
Yes.
And
yes.
then
How about that?
Yes. And then we have, just up the road, people that sleep on the steps of the church on Highland and Bergen. And so as democratic socialists, we think that doesn't add up. That there's so much wealth, there's so much resources in this country that we can house everyone, we can feed everyone, we can make sure our public schools are invested in, and that working people have a voice.
So that's your envision of Jersey City.
That is my vision for Jersey City. Yes.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate more?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. So part of what we did in our campaign was we started pretty early in 2021. We announced, we started fundraising. And the other thing we started doing very early was we started knocking on doors and talking to residents. We started that in April, and we did not put out our policy platform until July.
Right.
Because
I remember.
Okay. And that was because we wanted our policies to be based on the conversations we had with residents.
Why is that so important?
Well, because I think, there are a lot of good ideas out there. And, I remember a candidate who ran for something in years past telling me, I had this great idea and I thought it was the best idea, but the voters didn't think it was. Right. And so, what we tried to do was gather information, listen to people, and then feed that into our vision, and kind of say, hey, this is what we heard from you, what is most important, and this is what our vision is. This is our plan to change things.
I remember when we first met, and you was amazed, like, wow, of the how we did the basketball tournament. Now, my thing is, this is not one of my questions, but it's my question.
Sure.
Okay, because we had others, ask them this, ask them that, and what's going on with the crime? What do you, when you get in office as councilman in our ward, in Ward B, how are you going to stop the crime, the drugs, and how are you going to do it?
Sure. So I think that when people have a good job, when they have dignified living conditions, and they have healthcare, that they don't go out and commit crime. So what I think is the people who are out, selling drugs on the corner of, I'm not going to name the intersections because I don't, but
I'll do that.
Sure. You walk down West Side Avenue and you'll see it, right? You walk down Bergen Avenue and you see it. And, and then there's certain, there's certain corners like Lexington and Bergen that are contested, right? There've been shootings there many, many years going back. To me, those are crimes of, they're terrible, they're violent, but they're also people trying to survive.
Right. I remember when we first started the basketball tournament, Tomorrow Slam, right? In this area, the projects was here. We had originally we started on Duncan Avenue, right across the street from here, the park, Lincoln Park, and we stopped all drug traffic. I went in, the drug dealers was our referees. And it gave them something, it's all you can eat. When you're dealing with Bishop Thomas, you gotta have the food. And the thing is, one kid said to me, this is my only meal that I'm gonna have this weekend. So we racked it up and make sure that he had some for Sunday. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you get people to like jobs or training, it's a great possibility that they might be off the streets if they do something. You have a lot of men out there on the corners as we speak. What is your administration will try to do or do.
So I think that as a council member, I would want to work with community leaders who are already on the ground and who can work with those young people. Because I'm not going to be, the savior as the city council member. Hey, did
Right,
you
you
know
can't do it all,
you
right.
could get it, you could get trained, but trusted folks in the community I know that are in touch with those young people and can say, do you have a place to live? Where's your next meal coming from? This is not a long-term future, right? And so there is a better way. And so I think that community engagement from people who are trusted in the community, whether those are ministers or family members, they're out there. And, we can work with them to get the resources to these young folks.
Right, because I think it's important, not only with the young people, but the adults.
Mhm.
You said something, West Side for All.
That is our slogan on the ballot, 3C on the ballot, West Side for All, yes.
Elaborate more on that.
Sure. So our campaign does not, we've drawn certain lines. We don't accept money from real estate developers. We don't accept donations from big landlords. And that's because we think that they've had a lot of influence on the political process. And so what West Side for All means is whether you are homeless, sleeping on the steps of the church on Highland and Bergen, or if you're in the brand new luxury building, down 440, that we are going to listen to everybody, but we're going to fight for the majority, right? And the majority of people on the West Side are working class. They are working class.
And what about the funding for the kids' future and the Green New Deal for Jersey City?
Yes, so fully funding our kids' future. What that means to us, again, from the conversations we had with residents, parents, parents of school children, the drinking water in the public schools. I, as a city council member, can't wave a magic wand to fix it. I know it's in process, but if it can happen quicker, it needs to happen quicker. It's just a disgrace.
We need to work together.
We do need to work together, yes. Separate from school funding, well, definitely before setting aside school funding, I want to work with the Board of Education, not use them as an adversary.
Right.
I've heard the other side talk about, well, the public school money is just like throwing, public school budget is just like throwing money down the well.
Why are they saying that? Why?
I think you'd have to ask them, but I think that, where the money is going is we have a lot of children with special education needs, IEPs. We have a lot of children who have English as a second language.
Right.
And when we invest in those kids, they can succeed and they can prosper and go on to do great things. But those resources, those kids need a lot of resources. And so I don't think that our public school budget is an abyss, as I heard someone say.
In other words, they're not doing up to par for now at this state.
Well, I think that our opponents would say that they don't the Board of Ed can do its thing and we do our thing. And my approach is I would like to work with them. Some of the city budget is now going to go to the public schools, the payroll tax and the cannabis tax. So I think there's some other creative things we can do as a city too, to get our kids the education and the resources they need.
Okay, what about public safety?
Public safety. So I want to, again, listen to residents. I know the terrible incident that happened in Lincoln Park years back. Really shocked and kind of moved people into action in terms of more safety, more lights, more kind of panic button stations in Lincoln Park. But public safety to me, again, means that people that have a living wage, they have a dignified place to live, they will not be committing crimes.
Mhm.
So it's making sure that people feel safe when they walk from Journal Square home at night. And it's also making sure that those people out there who feel motivated to commit crimes, that we get them the resources they need to choose a better path.
Okay. Why vote for Joel Brooks? Why? Why should, it's coming close to vote. We see how it is now. What you bringing to the plate?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for the opportunity to say that directly. So, and also I just want to remind folks in Jersey City that you can vote now. There's early voting started on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You can vote. There are 10, this is confusing, so I'll go slowly. There are 10 sites in Hudson County. You can vote at any of those sites. There are 4 sites in Jersey City. You can vote at any of those sites. And voting there is just like voting on November 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And really encourage people to go vote. The Gallo Center, the community center next to the playground in Lincoln Park, that is an early voting site. But back to why people should vote for me.
Yes.
So I think that the current administration has had 8 years to address some longstanding issues and problems.
Wait, before you, I want you to look in the camera. Now you have to answer that question, and you got 15 minutes, however you want to do it. Let them know why they should vote for you.
Sure.
Okay.
15 minutes might be a little bit long, but
yeah. give it a shot.
Okay. So I don't know if I could listen to myself for 15 minutes, but
we're gonna have to if you counsel me.
That's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Yes.
So again, my name is Joel Brooks. I am a candidate for Jersey City Ward B, and our slogan on the ballot is West Side for All. I am 3C on the ballot. You can vote by mail if you've gotten your ballot. You can vote early in person, or you can vote where you have traditionally voted on November 2nd. Why you should vote for me. So we're fighting to fully fund our kids' future, and that means making sure the public school budget is fully funded, like it was this year for the first time in a decade or more. Outside of school, that youth and recreation, that mentoring services, that those are fully funded by the city. A Green New Deal for Jersey City. So you may have heard of a Green New Deal for the whole country. What we wanted to look at in Jersey City is public buildings that need to be retrofitted for energy efficiency. We can put Jersey City residents to work. We can train them. We can get them in good union jobs. We need to be more resilient to the effects of climate change. And, Hurricane Ida was terrible. But, on any given Thursday, the rain will put your car in the water on Communipon in 440. And I myself have been stranded there in the rain. So our sewers, our infrastructure is buckling under the weight of climate change and big storms. Lastly, housing justice for all. So whether if you're a renter, we want to enforce and expand rent control. So a lot of people don't know they live in a rent control building. Their landlord may be taking advantage of them. I know for last month, or rather this month in October, the legal rent increase in a rent control building is 3.7%.
Mhm.
You know, I had to make a few phone calls to find that out. And I spoke to a senior citizen in a rent control building. She had gotten a rent increase notice of 5.3%. And, you know, we're working with her to fix that situation. But, you know, it's a city ordinance and we should be proactive about enforcing it and letting people know what their rights are. So that's on the renter side. On the homeowner side, you know, you did get a kind of a tax break this year, and that's because of the Biden American Rescue Plan money, but that's not going to be there next year. And so we want to make sure that regular working class homeowners are not taxed out of Jersey City, while luxury, you know, developers coming in to build luxury market rate units have historically had tax abatements. Now, I know there have not been any tax abatements granted since 2017, but the weight of those tax abatements, you know, gets put onto the homeowners in terms of having to make up the difference, especially for the schools. So, and we also want to build more affordable housing, you know, work with, you know, either nonprofits or creative ideas like Community Land Trust. There's one in Essex County where we can house people and it, you know, it's not $2,500 or $3,000 for a studio apartment, because that's not what people living on the West Side, that's not what people can afford, right? And that's what we've heard in talking to people and knocking on doors. So that is what we're running to fight for. I know that if I win, I'm not going to be able to wave a magic wand, and winning this election is not the end all. And as an organizer, I would want to keep going out and talking to people. And if we put forward something that we think is a common sense change for people in Jersey City,
Right,
and other people on the council are not willing to go along with it, we need to organize. We need to go out and talk to residents all over the city to make sure they know that, hey, this is what we're putting forward. And then, you know, these are the obstacles. They may be other council members, they may be outside forces, but that we have to keep, you know, it's not just cast a ballot. It's, you know, we need to make phone calls, write letters to the editor, and build up organization, because that is what wins.
right. Okay, one more question.
Sure.
What does Black Lives Matters movement means to you? Or what's your intake?
Sure. So the Black Lives Matter movement is had just changed our culture for the better, I think. You know, it is says that historically and today we have systemic racism, whether that is in housing, whether that is in how people are treated by law enforcement. It is, right? It's the legacy that we have in this country. And what the Black Lives Matter movement says is that, you know, when Black folks are being, you know, targeted or punished or just disrespected, that's wrong.
Right, absolutely.
That is wrong. And, you know, I think we've seen the Black Lives Matter movement push for and win real changes. And, you know, I stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. I was at the demonstrations in downtown outside of City Hall. I think it's an international movement at this point.
Right.
It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I think if you're kind of struggling with what it means, look at the flip side, right? And who is saying all lives matter? We're not a colorblind society. We're just not.
Right.
And you know, Black folks have built this country with unpaid labor for hundreds of years. And it's a movement that is demanding respect, and I stand in solidarity with that movement.
All right. I tell you, it's over now.
All right.
It was good interviewing you.
Thank you, Bishop.
And I wish you the best in November.
Thank
What's
you.
that? November
2nd, a week from tomorrow, is election day. Or you can take 5-10 minutes, hop on over to the Gallo Center. There's free parking.
There you go.
Which is free parking in Jersey City. That's not nothing.
Right. We want to thank you for just tuning us in. That's SOFBN.com, the Sheila Faye Broadcasting Network, the network that cares for your community. So keep it locked. The L, the O, the C, and the K, the E, and the D. If you wanna be with us, keep it locked.
Thank you.